guys, it's Astrological here with a tutorial on how to make necklace chains, or any kind of chain that you feel like making. I'm going to be showing you two different methods, one that is VRChat friendly and one that isn't really VRChat friendly. You can still make that one, but it's going to be high poly, which is what you kind of want to avoid in VRChat, especially if you are using a certain type of VR headset that can't really handle very high poly models, which means that you won't be able to see the models and VRChat might lag. I know from experience, but it's mostly my GPU from my side. We will be using Blender 2.83 today. I don't know anything about Blender 2.9. I don't know if there's anything different. I don't feel like upgrading to that one. I'll be making a necklace for my model here. And I also apologize, I'm going to be sniffling a lot. I do wake up with a cold, unfortunately, like every morning. It's unavoidable for me. Don't know why it happens, but it does. So I'll try and cut it out as much as I can. So let's get started. I do have screencast keys on, so you will see what I'm pressing when I'm pressing it, just in case you don't know the basics already of Blender. So first thing we're going to add is a Bezier circle curve, and you can't see it because it's up here. Now if your 3D cursor is anywhere but the center, you can always center it with Shift S and cursor to world origin. Then to center your object, it's Alt G. So I'm just going to shrink it down. Then we're going to add a cube. Go into edit mode. I'm going to add a loop cut across here. Like that. Now you can add one up here as well, but I'm not going to do that for today. Now you want to get the face mode. Select the faces and just delete the faces. And now I'm gonna shrink it on the Y, and then I'm gonna extrude and I'm gonna shrink it inwards. And now you can see that it's getting all funky here, and you can't see it in shaded mode like this because it's not in for shaded mode. This basically means that your normals are reversed. So what you want to do is Shift N. You can see here that it has reversed your normals, so then your faces are facing outwards rather than they are facing inwards. I'm going to turn on the smooth shading. I'm going to go back into edit mode. With it all selected, duplicate it, rotate on the X by 90 degrees, then move it on the X. So then you create the start of your chain. I'm going to shrink it down a bit more. And then I'm going to add a modifier called array. Now this makes it so then it goes in a pattern and it repeats itself. And you can see here that it's not quite close together. It's close, but it's not linking. So you want to go to the offset with the X, and you just want to move that down. That's perfect. I'm going to shrink it down a bit more, and I'm also going to shrink down my necklace chain more, which this is going to be our base for our necklace chain. Go back onto your chain object, and you're going to add a curve modifier. In object, select the Bezier circle, and it follows its form. You want to make sure that your origin point, which for me is this little pink dot, for you it might be a different color. It's this little pink dot, so if you move it, it's gonna act all wacky. Same with the actual circle. So don't move it, keep it center, keep them both center from each other, so then they follow nicely. Now I'm gonna increase the count until I get it to link around all the way. And if it overlaps like this, just shrink it up and down, like that. Now to me, this is a bit too chunky. I'm actually gonna lower it on the z-axis a bit more. I'm also going to lower it on the y. Okay. So you can see that we now have a circle of a chain. I'm going to select them both in the hierarchy here. And then I'm going to move it up to my base on the Z, or Z, however you guys want to say it. And now you just want to shape it around your base. By selecting the Bezier circle, go into edit mode, and get these handles to adjust to the shape of the model. It's easy. And now the other method is exactly the same as this one. Just we're going to be using a different object. I'm going to shrink these handles down. And then I'm going to increase the size so then it links up again. I'm going to select the object, go into object, and convert to mesh. So now you can delete that Bezier circle. I'm going to go into shaded so you can actually see it more. And I'm actually going to give it a quick material so you can actually see it. Now you can see here it's still clipping through the body. So what you really want to do is just find where it's clipping, hit O for the proportional editing. You want to make sure that this is unchecked so then it makes sure that it selects everything in its area, and then just adjust it so that it is no longer clipping. The reason why we do this afterwards and use the curve instead of just making the array and then proportional editing is because it stretches. And you don't want it to stretch too much. So now we have that necklace chain. And as you can see down here, there's only 44,000 tries. If you're making this for VRChat, keep an eye on the tries rather than the vertices. So for the tries, it's 44,000, which is good. It's under that 70,000 that they recommend. But you gotta keep in mind that this is just the base. Mine is pretty high poly in some areas, which means that you may need to take down your actual base. As you can see here, all these dots are super condensed, which makes them high poly areas. You don't really want this for VRChat. Now, unless of course your model is going to be barefoot, if your feet are like this, when you have shoes you can just delete the feet. You don't need them. They're not going to be seen. With the hands though, they kind of need to be high poly like this, so then the rigging works nicely. I have noticed though that my topology of my hands isn't great, but ignore that. But yeah, same with the face. I would need to make the mouth area a bit smaller in vertices and stuff. But yeah, just keep that in mind. MMD, you can have a bit more leeway, but MMD still has its limits, especially if you're using heavy effects. For me, my GPU isn't the greatest, so it does lag with PMX Editor if it's too high poly. I'm going to delete that, and we are now going to make the lower poly option, which making the Bezier circle. And now we are going to add a cylinder and take down the vertices from 32 to 5. Thank you, fucking Blender, for crashing. Don't mind this, it's just, I can't find the textures because I moved them. I organized my folders. Let me add a cylinder and take it down to 5. There we go, now it works. Okay. I'm going to rotate it on the Y by 90. Then we're going to add our Bezier circle. We're going to add the array modifier. And you can see here, this is where it messes up. If yours does this, if your array modifier does this, it's because it's a bit weird. Look at what the hell's happening here. So, I don't know why that happened. Maybe it's because my proportional editor was on? No, it's just wonky. Okay. Don't know why it's doing that, but it's doing it. Now it's fixed. I don't know why that happened, but yeah. Basically, if you get that error anyway, or not really an error, if you get that issue, just use these controls until you get it so then it matches up. But yeah. And now we add the curve modifier. And we add it to our circle. We're gonna shrink them both down. Increase that size. Like that. And do the same thing. Ignore the missing texture. Now I'm just gonna go into the Bezier circle and grab the handles and adjust it. So then it follows the form of the body. And then I'm gonna just increase that so then it's all the way around. In object mode, make sure to convert it to a mesh before deleting the circle. I'm gonna go into shader mode. And this is where things go weird. So if you didn't select, if you didn't select merge, first and last, and then convert it, these won't be connected. As you can see, I can select one vertex and they are connected. Now, obviously here it didn't connect because they went right next to each other. So I'm just gonna merge them together like that by scaling on the X by 0. And then we're gonna go to mesh with it selected, clean up, merge by distance, and then increase the merge by distance down here until we get it so that it has merged 5 vertices. Now if you move it around, it's merged. You can delete that curve now. And here you have a lower poly necklace chain lace thing. You can see down here it's 39 tries in total for everything. This here is only 2,000 tries. You can lower it even more by going in to edit mode, selecting edges, and dissolving them, which it doesn't want to do. I don't know why it doesn't want to do that. That's weird. Maybe it didn't merge correctly, which is why you might want to do that merge by distancing. So if I... Okay, weird. Yeah, it just doesn't want to dissolve the edges. Weird. Well, you might want to manually go in and merge them together. It might also be because we have faces in the center. So inside of them, that might be the issue. So if I just revert back, if it'll let me go all the way back until it is back to a curve. Yep, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete the faces. Okay. And I'm gonna convert it to mesh. Okay. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna merge by distance. And it's merged those now. And now, there we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now you can dissolve the edges and make it even lower poly, whilst keeping it this small. So yeah, it will take a while, but it's a lot cleaner than doing it with decimate, which if you go into the planar, can't really see it doing much, but it does. At least it should. Maybe it's unsubdivided? No, weird. Okay, things just don't want to work for me today. But yeah, just decimating it doesn't really look nice, so. Decimate geometry, ratio. Yeah, there you go. As you can see here, it's messed up the topology of it. Now this isn't the end of the world, but it's ugly, and rigging might be a bit of an issue. So you're best off just manually doing it. But yeah, so that is how you make a chain, like an actual chain or a string chain for necklaces. You can do it for bracelets, you can do it for other things. They don't have to follow a curve that is just a circle. You can use the Bezier curve, path, NURBS, I think. I don't know, I've never really used NURBS. But yeah, you can make anything with this. So have fun with it, hopefully that helped. This was mostly for, this is for Lila. She was wondering how I got that array modifier to work properly. And obviously you saw why it was messing up. I used proportional editing when I was rotating the cylinder. It might look like it's done it correctly, but it probably hasn't. I'm not sure what the other issues might be if that wasn't the issue. So just do what I showed you. Adjust how the array moves with those controls, and you should be fine, and it should work perfect. But yeah. You can even make skirts of this, by the way, which I won't get into today, but maybe another tutorial I'll make a pleated skirt out of the array modifier. But thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have been staying safe during this whole shenanigans with the pandemic. I hope you're wearing your masks, washing your hands, and doing everything you can to keep safe. I want to get back into MMD content, but I don't know if I'll be making many videos still. I'm still a university student, so that means I don't have much time to do personal stuff. When I do, it's not really MMD, it's mostly just personal projects like making my own base and models from scratch, but yeah. But when I do have time and making MMD stuff, it'll likely be streamed on Twitch, so if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you dropped a follow over on Twitch. I don't have a set schedule yet for streaming, but I would love to at some point. I really do want to start streaming a bit more and get my content out there. But yeah, if you're looking to commission me, my website is linked down below. Check out my prices. I might be a bit pricey for 3D models for most of you MMDers and maybe even VRChat people, but yeah. Hopefully this helped, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you then.